Yes, hi everyone. My name is Caroline and I will be the facilitator for this roundtable with companies for Empower Wednesday. Thank you, Lucia, for having me today. And I will start by presenting the guest speakers for today. First, we have Vismit Chavla from Relax. She is a talent acquisition specialist who is focusing on data ops and DevOps recruitments. Then we have Camila Linko from Brella, who is also a talent acquisition specialist. If maybe, Lucia, we can move to the next page. Thank you. At least I cannot see it yet. Something's happening.
Yes, you should see Camilla Linko.
No, it's not just you, Caro. I think.
Okay, so then now we see Vismit still. So do you want to do over? Maybe. As we just started.
Right. And now I start to share again. So can you see Camilla now?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to start again or do we keep going?
You can keep going about Camilla.
Okay. Yes. So yes, as said, Camilla is also a talent acquisition specialist and working for Brella. Then we have Annika Ojala. Yes, now it's working from IF company and also in the talent acquisition space. And she's been also focusing on employer branding and DEI topics for the company. And then we have Emily Neal, who is a marketing manager at Sandvik and has just been relocating actually to Finland 6 months ago, but with Sandvik for quite some time. And then last but not least, we have Galit Natbornik, who is the Vice President of Executive Program for Nordic at Gartner, and also happens to be the founder of International Working Women of Finland. So welcome everyone. And we have a big audience online, so looking forward to see the questions in the chat. We will first let all the guest speakers introduce the companies and opportunities in the companies. And then on the second hour, we will be taking the questions. So thank you in advance to our audience for being active in the chat. So Vismit, I think we will be starting with you.
Sure, I'll just share my screen. Just let me know. I don't know if I can. Yeah. All righty. I hope you all can see my screen.
It's coming up. Yeah. If you just switch to presentation mode, you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I hope it's visible to everyone now. All right. Hi, everyone. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Vismit. I'm originally from India. Have been in Finland for a year and above now. I moved last year in June during the COVID time, and I moved with my husband and I moved from Denmark. So this is my second Nordic country, so to say. I was in Denmark for close to 3 years. Now, currently, I'm working as a talent acquisition specialist with Relic Solutions. I have mentioned my LinkedIn profile. I've also mentioned it in chat. So feel free to connect with me, and I'm happy to help you and guide you through the recruitment process and the job search process here in Finland. What does Relix do? So Relix is an international hypergrowth company, and we help retailers and wholesalers. We have a retail optimization software which covers supply chain, space promotions, and markdowns and workforce optimization. It's a SaaS-based business model which we work upon, and our product is powered by machine learning and advanced statistics. You can see a few relevant retailers' names on the left side of the presentation. We were founded in 2005 by 3 supply chain scientists. We are very much headquartered in Finland. So we started our base from Finland, but now we are globally located in Europe as well as in Asia Pacific. We have offices in 14 countries and more than 1,100 professionals. These were the 3 supply chain scientists who were founders of Relic Solutions, and they started this organization with the goal of perfecting the retail operations by the efficient and effective use of data. So Mikko Karkinen is our CEO, and Johanna and Mikko are based in Finland, but Michael is based in the US. This is how Relex is located. It's located in 16 offices. As you can see, it has presence in almost all the places in Europe. And then we have US, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Melbourne are our recent expanded geographical locations. We did this expansion in 2021 this year. So how Relex offers helps at different stages. Forecasting and replenishment software, it orders the current amount of products. Our space planning software determines the optimal amount of space for the product so that it always looks full. And our workforce optimization software makes sure there is enough employees to always keep products moving from the back room to the counter. So now you would have guessed that we focus a lot on sustainability, and that's the goal Relex has in terms of focusing on sustainability and the impact it has. If demand drops suddenly, our markdown optimization software, it picks the right discount percentage to maximize profits while helping clearing stocks. Relex values, we consider customer as a friend, the colleague is a friend, we deliver measurable value, put an end to stupid things, and life is supposed to be fun. What is life at Relex like? Great colleagues, people from different countries. We have over 50 plus nationalities, different backgrounds in different countries. We are cherry-picked teammates. We have an awesome work-life balance. Work from home, it's general now. It's become default everywhere after COVID. But we still have discussions going around and keeping it as it is for long now. So we are not going to change this mode. It depends on the employees what mode they want to function, but we are very, very flexible in terms of making it work from home completely if someone wishes to. We have flexible working hours. Overtime is definitely not glorified. We have free time activities. We had epic parties and events, but now due to COVID, there are restrictions, but we're soon going to have this pre-Christmas celebration if there's no restriction on the number of people next week. So let's hope to have that. And it's a great opportunities at Relex, shorter or long visits to other country offices, high growth, a lot of great opportunities, internal job rotations, movements are definitely acknowledged and given an opportunity. What we offer flexible hours, remote work, coffee and snacks, modern tools, meaningful work, recreational opportunities, events and celebrations, and family-centric environment. If you're interested in joining us, I've just listed few of the roles in different departments. So how Relex is segregated in department as we have technology department, where I take care of the data ops and DevOps recruitment. And then there are other technology recruiters, tech recruiters who are taking care of other departments. So we have DevOps engineer role, Java developer role, full stack developer role, cloud engineers, test automation engineers, and etc. But you can definitely go to our careers page and see more about these roles and apply. Feel free to apply. It's a very, very international organization, and our business language is English. So just don't hesitate in applying. There are other departments. I've listed down these positions. If you feel there is some interesting role, just feel free to reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and as well as on a LinkedIn page. Thank you. It was pretty short. I'm just ending it now, and just a second.
Oops.
I don't
Sorry,
know what happened.
No problem. No, perfect. Hey, you know what? But short, to the point, and I think with very relevant information. So I'm encouraging the participants online, if you have some specific questions about the positions or about the working culture or values at Relex, or then around Vismit experience as an employee as well, like how she has been feeling in the company and so on, then please put them in the chat and we will address them after the rest of the presentation. So thank you, Vismit. And I think we were moving on to Camilla. And once again, for those joining us a bit later, Camilla is from Brella and also talent acquisition specialist. So Camilla, the floor is yours.
Can you see?
And your presentation is coming up. Yes, all good. Go ahead.
Still showing?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So nice to meet you, everybody, and great to be here today to discuss with you all. I wanted to start basically this presentation with our people, as you can see here in the picture, because that is definitely something that we feel at Brella that makes the company special. It is definitely our culture and the people we have. It's not, unfortunately, probably actually all of our employees there. We've been growing quite a lot, so bunch of new employees coming every month, but most of the people are here. And then, as you can see, there is also my face in the picture. So like Caroline mentioned, Camilla Linko, my name, and working as a talent acquisition specialist here. We have a quite small people team here. So basically my role is to take care of all the recruitments we have, all the open roles, but at the same time also, of course, developing a lot to our recruitment processes and everything we do, there is always something to make better. So that is what my role is all about. Then shortly just about the company, about Brella. We are relatively small company yet, so not something that everybody probably have heard. So as you can see here in the picture also, so we are actually one of the leading platforms for virtual, in-person and hybrid events. So there's a possibility to have all of these three kinds of events done on the Brella, fully on the Brella platform. And one core thing that we really focus on our platform is this matchmaking and networking. So mostly what happens there is that we want to be able to connect relevant people to each other. So people who can find a lot of new knowledge from each other and network. And that's really what is special in our platform. Our clients, they are mostly B2B side conference organizations. And we have had actually a lot of variety of different kinds of events happening on Brella. We have connected people from investors to startups, or actually have done some recruitment events, so job seekers to companies. And also I think there was one wine tasting happening on our platform. So it is a lot of variety of things that are happening on the Brella platform. Then just shortly about some important numbers about Brella, and then there on the right you can see our mission statement as well. So as I mentioned, we are quite a young company still, and we are about 5 years old, founded in 2016. Currently we have 22 nationalities in the company, so it is a quite international group of people. We are actually in 2 countries, meaning that we have people working in 2 countries, here in Finland and then also in the US. And here in Finland, we have 2 offices, one in Helsinki and one in Jyväskylä, but of course a lot of people working also flexible and remotely. And then we have 64 employees at the moment. That is something, like I mentioned, that has been growing a lot. I think it was about 30 employees or something a year ago. So been doubling in that now during this year. And then something that we are very proud of is, of course, this eNPS, so employee NPS score of 71, which is really great to hear that people really enjoy working here. Then wanted to include shortly about the teams we have at Brella and the open roles we have. We don't actually at the moment have that many open roles, only 2, but wanted to include all the teams we have, because we will have a lot of new open roles coming up, most likely beginning of next year. But still this year we are looking for a QA specialist to Finland and then account executive to the US. But other than that, we have our product team, of course, working with our product, developers, designers, QA, product management belonging to that team, which is actually quite a huge team, almost 50% of our employees working in the product team. Then we have our commercial side, also a big team with our sales employees, customer success and customer support. and then also, of course, marketing, people, and finance in the company. Then this is in short actually what we are all about at Prella, and how is our culture, because we feel strongly that the core values we have define everything that we do here. So this is something that in a short sentence puts how our culture is here. And we have 4 values. Here you can read a bit more about the values. I'm not gonna, of course, read everything out loud here. But firstly, about human-centric and customer first. So that is really all about being this people first kind of culture, which sounds a bit cliche, I know, but actually, if I would get to say that what is a one word I would describe our people, I would definitely put, for example, empathy is something that I would use. So definitely something you can hear in our culture. Secondly, confidence without arrogance, and humility without shame. So we have a lot of talented people here, but something that I've noticed also myself is at the same time everybody is very humble, so they don't necessarily make a big deal out of themselves, even though they are really pros in what they are doing. And also something that tells a lot about the company culture is, of course, how mistakes are handled. And that is something I've also personally noticed, that we want to have that kind of environment where you can feel safe even if you are doing a mistake. And then urge to conquer and grow. That is all about growth mindset, as you can probably hear from the values. So we of course want to develop ourselves to be even better the next day, and at the same time develop the company. And then lastly, boldly exploring what lies beyond the trail. So innovation is something that is super important for us, of course. We of course will do a lot to our product all the time, and innovate and make it better all the time. Yes. Then just shortly about diversity, inclusion, and equity topics at Prella. I wanted to include this here because it is something that is very important for us and in our culture, and something that we are committed to advancing these topics, and definitely a lot we can still do, but something we know that it's a working process all the time, advancing these topics. And for us, it's not only about having the diversity and having a diverse workforce, but also a lot about focusing on inclusion and equity, of course. Yes, and then this is actually related to the previous slide and the day topic. So belongingness is something that, in addition to the official things, for example, we do, for example, help with the relocation process if someone is moving to Finland, or help with them all the official things. We also want to support everybody with these small things, to have this belongingness to the company and each other, so that everybody can be themselves. So we have, for example, the Slack channels, cultural awareness and life in Finland, that everybody shares some tips and shares about their culture, for example, because we have a lot of people from different nationalities who celebrate, for example, different holidays and all this. So we all want to be aware of those topics, and to be able to also help each other if there are Finland specific things. So definitely a lot of this peer support. And then here's also include this Prella Moving Club. So also a small thing, but something that definitely we have a lot of people who want to learn, for example, Finnish or Swedish. So something we also do weekly, to have these language lessons also. Yeah, I think that was it. Wasn't as quick as Vismit, but tried my best. And here's also my LinkedIn profile. So if anybody wants to connect, I'm very happy to do so. So happy to stay in touch.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Camilla. We'll have some questions for you later, but first we are going to be seeing the presentation from Annika from the IF company, and we are ready for you. Your presentation is visible. That was quick. And now you're in presenter mode. So thank you so much. And off you go, Annika. We cannot hear you though. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. I realized that once I share my screen, I can get back to this and unmute myself. So better do it this way.
All good.
So just a second.
All right, perfect.
Yes, great. Thanks a lot. So yeah, my name is Annika Ojala. Really great to be here and being able to tell you a bit more about If. So If is the biggest insurance company in the Nordics, and I will just straightly go to our purpose, which is to give people confidence today to shape their tomorrow. So that really describes why we exist and why we go to work in the morning and why everyone at If does what we do each day. Because insurances are a vital part of a well-functioning and evolving society. So we want to make sure our customers are correctly insured and feel confident enough to face risks and build for the future. So when something happens, we help them rebuild and recover. And we are both there in the defining moments and, of course, in everyday matters. So our actions today have a big impact on our customers' futures and their lives and, of course, their businesses. So in other words, our purpose highlights the important role we have in the society and in people's lives and in businesses' lives. So it describes how we truly make a difference. And our vision is to be the most caring insurance company for all of our key stakeholders, which is our customers, our employees, our partners, and the society. And yeah, we want to succeed with by this while truly understanding our customers' need and making sure our customers are correctly insured and help when something happens. And we believe that we can do this thanks to our deeply rooted service culture that we wish will set us apart from our competitors. So our core values are that trust is our backbone, that we stay ahead, and that we put our hearts into it. And this really describes an internal culture and forms the basis for everyday decisions we make as employees at If every day. And yeah, they guide us in how we act in our daily work and behave towards each other and our customers. So some of them we live up to today, and some areas we still need to reinforcements to strengthen our culture further. And we really wish to be by our customers' sides. So this is our promise to our customers. And other insurance companies might limit their engagement to quick payouts, which of course is important to us as well. But we want to move towards taking a much deeper commitment and yeah, show that If it's the most caring insurance company on the market, and that we really understand our customers' needs in everyday kind of situations. And yeah, that's why we put our hearts into helping, solving, and satisfying. And we aim to create a trustful relation. So being insured with If is like having a really good friend, someone who listens, cares, and looks out for you no matter what. So someone who's by your side. That's really what we want to do. But yeah, a bit more about If is that we're part of the Sampo group, which some might be more familiar with maybe than If, don't know. But Sampo Group is a significant Nordic insurance group and one of the most valuable companies listed on the Nasdaq Helsinki. And yeah, our head office is in Stockholm in Sweden, and our CEO is Norwegian. It's Morten Thorsrud, and he's been the CEO since 2019. And we're active in the Nordics and the Baltics, but we also have some branch offices in, for example, the UK and Netherlands. And we are just under 8,000 employees working at If, and nearly 4 million customers are who we serve every day. And in Finland, we're about 1,200 people working at the Turku office, where I'm located as well. And in Espoo, we have around 600 people at our brand new office in Keilaniemi. And then we have some smaller offices in Finland as well. And something that most people don't maybe know about IF is that we have around or over 1,000 people working within IT. So we have a quite big IT department and do a lot of things in-house. And so yeah, there's always need for talents within IT for as many companies as well. But then we also have a broad set of people working in different parts of F. There might be doctors or nurses or shipmasters, police, engineers, just about everything, as we serve private customers, small and medium-sized enterprises, and big industrial clients. So there's really a need for knowledge in many different areas, and really need experts in all of these. Our ambition as IF is to have the most satisfied customers and partners. So we really strive to be trustworthy and transparent towards our customers, and put them first in everything we do. We also want to be best in risk. We don't just lower our prices to attract new customers or give them, we rather give them stable and predictable prices. And that's something that IF is really good at. And we want to have the most engaged people. So our employees are our most important source of success. And therefore we strive to really attract, employee, develop, and retain people who share our values. So that's something that's really important for us. And we believe in the power of good leadership. Want to make it all about people, empowered through direction and enhanced collaboration. And then we also aim to be the most trusted insurance company and actively contribute to more sustainable society. So one of our commitments to our customers is that when something happens, we want to make sure that their claims are handled in a sustainable way. And for employees, we want to provide them a diverse and inclusive work environment where everyone is treated fairly and equally. And these diversity, equity, inclusion matters are something that we have worked a lot on and of course continue to develop. And as many of us know, that's something that it's not that work is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So it takes a lot of time, and the efforts we maybe do today are seen in the upcoming years. But that's something that's a big thing we're working on, besides the sustainability, which is our commitment to society, that we adhere to good corporate governance and transparency in everything we do. But I would say that that's maybe IF in some kind of nutshell. You can find our open positions in if.fi/join us. We mostly right now have IT roles, some other as well, but that's the web page where all our open positions can be found. You can find us on Instagram. If Vakuutus, that's mostly in Finnish, but if you want to learn more Finnish and about the insurance company in Finnish, then that's your place to go. And our website, of course, but then LinkedIn is probably the best source to know more about IF and keep in touch. But yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Annika. And then we have Emily Neal, and she is from Centric. Different profile. Our first presenters were in the HR talent acquisition, but Emily is marketing manager, and I'm sure she'll give us also a great perspectives. So
Hi,
Emily, the floor is yours. We can see your presentation, we can hear you. Great. You're good to go.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me today. As you mentioned, a little bit different profile to the rest, so I've included a little bit of a slide about me. I actually only recently moved to Finland just before summer. In May, so it was great timing to enjoy this really beautiful summer that we had here. I relocated from Brisbane in Australia, and I was working for Centric in Australia as well as a marketing coordinator, and now I work as the marketing manager for our underground drilling division. And you can see a photo of me last time I visited the Tampere factory, which is where I'm calling you from today. It was a lovely dumping of snow on my first visit, so happy days. As I mentioned, and as you probably see in my video, I'm calling from a little bit different environment, and that's because I wanted to show you what a corporate environment can look like at a business like Sandvik. So it's quite unique to us here. I'm calling you actually from our underground underground test mine at the moment, and I'm in our digital showroom. So this is where we broadcast a lot from. We test a lot of our products here. So obviously we make mining equipment, and yeah, it's just really, it's like the pinnacle of our technology, and we're super proud of this area. So who are we? Sandvik Mining and Rock Solutions is one of the 4 business areas within the Sandvik Group. Here in the mining division, we manufacture equipment, tools and services for underground and surface mining, construction and quarrying. So my particular role, we specialize in underground drilling, but we also make products for loading and hauling, tunneling, quarrying, rock tools, and a whole range of products and services to do with the mining industry. As you saw on my title slide, Sandvik is a truly global organization, and probably where we differ a little bit to the other participants from today, we are in 160 different countries around the globe. We have 37,000 employees approximately across the group, so across those 4 divisions. R&D and engineering are really the heart of our company, and as such we have 60 R&D centers and thousands of active patents around the globe. More locally, coming to you from our Tampere factory, which was originally known as Tamrock, which is quite a well-known brand in this area and in Finland in general, I think. We're actually just about to celebrate our 50th anniversary of this site here next year. And as I mentioned, we have our test mine here, which we're very proud of, and it happens to be the only underground test mine in the world, so it's very unique to our company. We also have several other facilities around the globe in relation to the area that I work for, which is underground drilling. We have manufacturing and production facilities in Finland, France, Canada, and China. Across those 4 areas, we have approximately 1,700 full-time employees. And between those factories, last year we delivered around 500 units to our customers. And our primary markets for my division are mining and construction. As with a lot of the other businesses presenting today, our core values are really at the heart of everything that we do, and they are customer focus, innovation, fair play, and passion to win. And I would say everybody working for Sandvik absolutely lives and breathes these core values day to day. In terms of our working culture, innovation is really highly valued here in our business, as is diversity and inclusion. Obviously, the nature of the business, we still have some work to do in this space. Mining and construction can predominantly be male-driven industries still in some areas, but we have worked so much to improve this and increase the diversity within the teams that work here. There's a lot of opportunity for learning and development within Sandvik. We offer a lot of training courses, both internally and externally, and there's always a huge amount of succession planning done, and your career objectives are very clear working for a business like ours. English is the main language that we communicate in for our company, but we also translate all of our communications, our website, our marketing materials into 17 different languages as standard. I saw someone else actually mention the same thing, that there's this culture of working from home and remote working, which is obviously across the board for I think all of us at the moment. But I would like to highlight that this has not always just been something related to the pandemic times. I myself actually used to work from home in Byron Bay in Australia, which is quite a well-known coastal town, and this was basically my backyard. So there's a lot of opportunity to work in roles like this within Sandvik, and obviously those opportunities are growing every day now that we're all used to working from home a little bit more. Across our business, we have a lot of different areas and a lot of different specialties that you can work in, everything from sales, business development, administration. As I said, we are an engineering company at heart, but like myself, you could also work in marketing, logistics, product management. There are literally hundreds of different opportunities at our company. As of today, we currently have 436 jobs open across the Sandvik group. So if you are interested, I have put the link on my last slide. You can go check it out. In terms of working for Sandvik, other opportunities to enter the business doesn't just have to be jobs that are available. We also offer a variety of opportunities for different work placements and study opportunities through apprenticeships, summer jobs and traineeships. Those typically open in the first quarter, January, February of each year for the following summer, Finnish summer, that is. And we also offer our Global Graduate Program, which is a 15-month rotation through all of Sandvik's business areas. And that is for people who have a master's degree in engineering or business administration, and they get exposed to different areas of the business across a 15-month period. And typically, pre-COVID, that would be in a variety of different locations as well, different countries around the world. Those applications have already been filled up until 2023, which is when the next application period will open. There's also the opportunity to write your thesis, your master's thesis at Sandvik. So we offer this opportunity to university students, and here are some examples of the topics that are quite commonly focused on in this area. These are also available on our website as well, so you can see the opening and the application dates for those and the ones that are currently on offer. And then, as I mentioned earlier, all of our open positions, of which there are several hundred, so I won't go into all of them, but open positions, traineeships, study programs, they can all be viewed and applied for on our careers page, which is home.sandvik/careers. And I also popped my LinkedIn link into the chat box as well, so you're more than welcome to connect at any time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I can't believe you left home office in Byron Bay to come to Finland. Good on you. It's very brave. If you need emotional support for your first winter, we are here for you. So don't hesitate to contact us. You're in Tampere, so you should be getting like pretty good snow at least from like January onward. But if you can't survive November and December, like we are here for support to you.
I've got my vitamin D and my sunlight, and I think I'm getting prepared. So let me know if there's something else that I need.
Yeah, well, I think you need a lot of wine and good friends. That's what you need.
Always.
I'm only saying this because it's my 18th winter in Finland, so I'm kind of like still not used to it after all. Joke aside, thank you very much. Interesting presentation, and I like very much the program that you have with the international rotations and these 15 months and all of that. So we'll talk maybe a bit about this when we come to the questions and so on. But then last presenter will be Galit Natbornik from Gartner, and also the International Working Women of Finland founder. So Galit, if you are ready, yes. Do you have something to share, by the way? Or
I was gonna not share anything because I only share PowerPoint all day long at my other job. So I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. And then I realized that, yes, I will.
Yes, you will. Very good.
It feels like somehow I'm really meaning what I'm saying, what I'm showing. So let me share, and hopefully you can see the Welcome to Gartner slideshow.
Yes, and it's in presentation mode, so all good. You're good to go.
Brilliant. And I was going to open to you an actual internal pages on Welcome to Gartner on for newcomers. But what I'll do is I'll show you a few screenshots later on. And thanks for having me, Lucia, Caroline. It's a privilege to be there. Lucia has tried to get me as a participant for as long as this Empower Wednesday has happened. And I always had a good excuse that I couldn't join because I was busy doing whatnot. So she found the best trick to get me to join, which is to actually force me to come and speak to you, which is really wonderful. So I'm really happy. I'm so impressed and proud at the attendance, the participant, the active chat. This is incredible, and I'm just really impressed at what we can accomplish, even with all the constraints of a global pandemic and €0 budgets. So well done us, and well done to all the team and all the volunteers and all the project managers. So that was on one side, and on the other side, of course, is my gig as a Gartner Vice President. So I'll introduce myself briefly. And I already put my LinkedIn in the chat. Feel free to connect. I'm always happy to meet new people, to help whoever I can help, to create connections, you know, anything I can do to make your journey here a little bit less tricky or difficult. We will always be here to support, because I came here 15 years ago, 16 almost, and there was no such networks or capability to connect. And that is really something that was felt very deeply, I think, in our communities. And when one afternoon of frustration, I clicked the create group button on Facebook, little did I know how incredibly vast and impactful this action would just be, and how dramatically it would change the course of my life, and I think the course of many people's life and the society at large in Finland. So I'm genuinely proud of what we've accomplished. I've done nothing. I clicked a button. The board, Caroline, Lucia, and all the ladies you can maybe hear about are the actual drivers behind this. But the inspiration came from a very strong reality, which is that behind the fancy titles and company names that you see, Tieto, Nokia, Kone, Lindström Group, and the great experience that I'm proud to have nowadays, was a journey and was an uphill battle to gain trust, to gain credibility, to build a network from scratch, to be recognized as the leader and the peer and the expert that I am, and to also feel like I belonged to this society and to the economy. So it was a very, very emotional, exhausting, and rewarding journey, which is still on its way. And I have the immense privilege today to tell you a little bit about how on earth Gartner Vice President of the Nordics sounds and look like me. Because that is a big win for all of us here, foreign talents who want to be in the position that we deserve. There is a place for us, there is an opportunity for us to make an impact, to be heard, to be seen, to contribute, and to bring more than just our diverse token element, but to bring our insight, experience, and knowledge. So I wanted to start from here because I wanted to understand that, yes, I'm here to talk about Gartner. I'm here to talk about my team, but I'm more interested in you and in what you have to bring, in the fact you're spending an hour and a half with us, which means that you have a voice, you have an opinion, and you have something to contribute. So I see you and I care about you. Gartner is a very big American company, and it's my first American company. Before that, I worked for Finnish companies headquartered in Helsinki. That means that I had to learn a little bit how to live and move and operate in an environment that doesn't think that Finland is the center of the universe. And that was very interesting because that means that what we do here is we work with the biggest companies in the world, the biggest governmental institution in the world. We are over 90 offices around the world. We're represented everywhere on the globe. We have 16,000 employees, or we call them associates. And we're not very old. We are only since 1979 founded by Mr. Gartner himself. So that was his last name that we inherited. And what we do in essence is that we provide insights, we provide guidance and tools to enable faster, smarter decisions for leaders in every major areas of an organization. So Gartner is very known for different things like magic quadrants and whatnot, but we actually operate across the different domains of administration on business and governmental institutions, which I think is very important to understand as well. But my world is in IT and information technology. And what we do is that we do three things. It's called the research and advisory, which is basically all the forward-thinking insight, all the mega trends, all the big metrics and measurements and insights and created basically white paper that tell you which technology, which trend are going to take over the world in the next couple of years. It comes from us. We're building those things. We've over 2,000 experts in the world, which is really fascinating. We're basically shaping industries and trends across the corporate and governmental world. We build a world of conferences. The latest one was the Symposium, which is the largest gathering of IT executives in the world, where we give those CIOs and IT executive of the largest institution in the world insights on how to lead their organization to be relevant and to lead with human and technology at the heart. And we have, of course, consultancy, but I will skip that for now because this is the hands-on part, which is important and informs itself from the insight that we build. So it's really a big privilege because the part I work in is the research and advisory, and most specifically the advisory part. And let me show you a little bit who we are. These are just a sample of some of my team members. And why I wanted to show it to you is that we are working across many, many areas, and we have actually a fairly well-balanced gender balance. We're not yet balanced in the ethnic background because most of my colleagues are native from the countries to which they are working in. But as I'm in charge of the organization, I think it sends a strong signal that we welcome and appreciate all the talents, regardless of where they were born and the languages that they speak. So that's the first step. It's having a very beautiful Nordic team across a wide range of skills and capability and a very different background and insight. And I just wanted to share a bit less, let's say, engineering view of what we do and go to who we are. And an executive partner, which are the people in my team, are the people who are actually able to bring that insights and action into effect, making plans clear for the executive with support, but also have that empathy, that ability to share our clients' risks and profits. So we're not just there to give good advice and like step out and hope someone resolves it. We're there to help strategize, understand what our clients are trying to accomplish, and then care together with them on the outcome. And we lose and we win with our clients. So when our clients win, we win. And when they lose, we're out. So that is not something we want. And that's why we work very, very closely with their business outcome. And why an executive partner joins my team in general is because they're passionate about lifelong learning and teaching, and they want to make an impact. So it is really, really key that we bring in people that, yes, have track record in accomplishing large things, large transformation, best in technology and in business transformation, but it's also about people who are willing to impart their knowledge and actually create something that lasts, something that is meaningful. So this is not about anything else than the human behind the intention and the mission. And that is what I search when I recruit for colleagues in my team. The Gartner culture has 10 corners or 10 enablers, and I wanted to show one that we work on just today with the leadership team is win as a team, which was really exciting because I actually hosted the workshop with the managing executive partners. And the idea is that we as leaders have an immense responsibility on building the outcome that we want to see with our team. So business results don't happen because someone somewhere made a PowerPoint. It happens every day because people feel and believe that they understand why they're here and that the culture enables their success. So we're working very hard as leadership to really build that ability to embody a no-limit mindset, be fact-based, be very objective, be prioritizing relentlessly, being efficient, but also having that humility, that coachability, that team spirit, and that diversity and inclusivity focus. And that's my kind of concluding word, if you will. I'm from a religious minority, so I am not maybe visibly different, but I am in many ways living through a different life cycle. And that has been always a bit of a trick for me to make it work here in the Nordics, because simply my lifestyle and the processes that I go through are not the same as the majority. It's not easy. It's not easy either to be a woman in an engineering world, which is dominated by the other genders. It is not easy either to be a m60. No one talks about the plight of short people. It is not easy to be younger than the average in the industry. It is not easy to be different, but it is not a disability. It is not a negative thing. It is just something you need to be aware of and leverage. And when I joined Gartner, I wanted really to sense the reality of the diversity and inclusion. And it was very concrete immediately. My colleagues made hoops and loops to arrange around my different calendars. They are moving meetings specifically to adjust to our holidays. There is a very many subgroups that are called mosaic, which are ways to show the different communities that we have. And within 3 hours, I was already invited to join the one that relates to my minority. That was an extraordinary experience of just being part of an environment that didn't just talk about diversity and inclusion, but actually made a conscious effort to do it. So we're not done yet. I think Gartner has a way to go, like every company in the universe. One practical example that I love raising is that not every CIO and tech leader is a gentleman. Some are also women. So when we refer to our client, we tend to just use he. And I try to make sure that it is always understood that it can be a woman, a man, or someone else. So it doesn't have to be so binary. And that's just part of learning together and being respectful and understanding that inclusion, diversity, equity are things we do deliberately and continuously together. So because we're global, we work in English. Our clients like the local language, so that usually helps. But that means actually that if you click on the link that I shared here, or simply just Google job.gartner.com, you're going to find a large amount of opportunities that do not necessarily require the local language. So I invite you to keep an eye on there. There is also a trainee program. There is also a lot of internship capability. And obviously there is network and options that you should search. The other thing that we don't talk about at Gartner, and we should, is there is a lot of free content, webinars and insights that you can use. You can learn and you can actually upskill yourself by just utilizing the content that we're already sharing. So do it. You can never lose by learning something more. And on that note, I believe I'm out of time, so I will pause here. And thank you so very much for the opportunity to discuss. I'm done.
Thank you very much, Galit. Super. So we did get actually quite many questions in the chat. Some of them are addressing specific presenters, and then I will have also quite a few questions for everybody. So I've also made my list of questions. But maybe we start with Vismit for Relex. So one question was relating to the way that applicants should be preparing for interviews, and generally speaking, what kind of stages do you have in recruitment process? If you can tell us a little bit more, please.
Definitely. Yeah. So in terms of my suggestion or recommendation would be just look at the job description and then customize your CV and cover letter, as everyone would have been telling the same thing. So I would say the same. Show your motivation. Just don't put a lot of information. Just have a short CV. These are the few tips which you all would know by far now if you're in the job search process, but I would repeat the same because that's what you need to tailor-made your CV and cover letter. And Relex does appreciate the same as other companies. In terms of the interview stages, there are 2 face-to-face interviews, specifically in the technology department. For other departments, there would be another additional layer in the stage that would be a phone interview. So it would start with a telephonic interview, and then the person who's really keen and a good candidate or qualifying candidate would be then called for a casual interview. That's the first face-to-face interview, and after that, then there's a technical interview or a case interview. So 2 face-to-face interviews, might have 1 layer initial interview or phone telephonic interview just to check the suitability.
Yes, excellent. And then the second question was concerning the openness of the company towards people who might be changing career path at a later stage in life and are therefore coming to be around 40 years old and looking for internships, for instance, because they are now in a new path and a new profession.
I think Relix does not have that internship opportunities right now. We have been discussing that, and I think for the next year we have a discussion around that to hire such people or such talents who want to do a career change or who already are experienced from their countries, native countries, and then now they want to shift their careers. So there are certain discussions going around, but this year there have been recruitments only for experienced professionals.
Yes. Okay. Very good. And I think at least from Centric and Gartner, we heard that they were internship opportunities. So maybe good to check those from the people in our audience that were interested in such path. Very good. Then there was a question for Camilla at Brella. So you mentioned at some point ENPS, which is the Employee Net Promoter Score, which measures in company the, let's say, loyalty of and satisfaction of employees in the company. And you were mentioning that you had quite nice score, 76, I think, if I recall. So the question was in regards to how do you actually calculate this Employee Net Promoter Score, Camilla?
Yeah, that is a good question. So basically, it's calculated like any other NPS scores. So there is only one question on a scale to 0 to 10. So how likely the person would recommend our organization, so Brella, to a friend or colleague, and then basically you can answer any number from 1 to 10, and then if you answer from 1 to 6, you are basically like a detractor, so not maybe that happy in the company, and 7 and 8 are passives, and 9 and 10 are promoters. And then basically the number game comes when the promoters and the percentage of those is then the detractors is minuses from that amount, and then we can get the NPS score. So basically the number can be anything from -100 to +100. So
yes, excellent. So 76 out of 100 is actually a pretty good score indeed. Very good. Then let's move on to Annika at EVE. There were also quite a few questions. So first one was concerning the non-IT related position. So I think you mentioned your IT department was quite significant, close to 1,000 people or just over 1,000 people. What about other departments where you potentially significantly hire besides the IT, if any?
Yeah, that's maybe the main reason I mentioned the IT role or the IT roles, because those are the ones where we like the local language is not in any way a requirement because we're not quite yet there with other positions in if I really wish we would. We're having a language strategy and working on that part, so hopefully we'll get better. But at the moment, at least in many other positions, we still need to know some of the Nordic languages. So that's the main reason I mentioned those. We of course have some opportunities, but it's quite hard to say right now. We have so many people in such many roles at IF, so sometimes there may be more for like analytical roles or those or industrial roles might be the ones where you're working more with in the like international clients than in the Nordic roles. For example, in HR, even though I work in a Nordic team, I use language or English, but I still need to be able to write Finnish ads and have interviews with our candidates and so on. So really wish to come there, but not quite yet there. So that's why the IT is the biggest focus on international talents.
Yes, okay, and quite common actually for many companies in Finland. The next questions are actually related to the number of internationals in other departments and the importance of the Finnish language and so on. So you already kind of like answered that already, but maybe you can tell a little bit about the language strategy now, since we are on this topic and you mentioned there might be some ideas for the future. Anything you could share with us, or is it top secret?
I don't know if it's top secret. It's more that it's a work that started this autumn. We have some researcher from Aalto University helping us doing that, so that we really get a good input in our company and maybe can question why we at the moment have the Nordic language requirement in many roles. So I think the work is ongoing. I think we will have the results by spring. So that's something that's ongoing. So I don't really know that much about what we're doing. We're having a lot of interviews throughout the companies and trying to really get a good picture of why of the roles we could extend to not have in any way that you would need the local language. So not too concrete information, but as mentioned, we really want to make a change in that as well.
And that's the first step, isn't it? So very good. Excellent. We look forward maybe to hear from you then at the end of the spring to know what were the outcomes.
So.
I think it's actually a super relevant topic for so many companies, that the fact that you're investing now into making this research and having the Aalto University supporting with that is actually quite interesting. So I might ping you in the spring to know more.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. Very, very good. Just reading one question at the same time, which I will ask later. Then, yes, a question from me actually to Emily in Sandvik. So you were mentioning the role of women in man-driven environment, and obviously Sandvik is quite male-dominated still in terms of the industry. I myself as well was in male-dominated industry for 10 years, and you say that there are some changes and it's like going towards the right direction. Could you maybe share, as it might be interesting for our audience and also other companies, that what concrete steps or what concrete changes do you think are happening that makes the attraction of female talent to such industry also happening now?
Yeah, it's actually perfect timing for your question, because we're currently working on a campaign, and this is where I kind of cross paths with our talent acquisition specialists at Sandvik, is helping with them with this. So to answer your part of the first question, we already have our long-term strategy, which is called Make the Shift, and it focuses on various areas such as sustainability, but diversity and inclusion is also one of those. And there's a mandate in there business-wide to increase the number of female managers across the business, and that could be through promoting them internally within the business into new roles that they might not typically apply for, and trying to foster those kind of career pathways. In the last 12 months, I think it's gone, I hope you won't quote me, even though this is being recorded, I think it has gone from 12 to 17% in the last year for female management, which is roles like my own. But we're also working on a new recruitment strategy, at least for our division, for underground drilling. One area that we really struggle with attracting female applicants, and I stress applicants, because applicants is probably where the difficulty lies. It's not so much that there's no one to choose from. It's that we don't often get them apply for the roles that we're promoting, and that's the target for our new campaign, is to rework the language and the way that we promote these jobs to be more appealing and to include more appealing benefits within those roles, such as parental leave, depending, of course, where you're working in the role in the world, and more flexible hours, and those kind of peripheral benefits outside of just salary, I suppose. But the real struggle for us at the moment is changing the language and changing the prerequisites in our recruitment. A lot of it is very focused and targeted towards mechanics or engineering or very masculine type language. But what we're realizing now in some trials that we've done actually in Australia over the last 12 months is if we change the wording of those roles, we take out all of the prerequisites that aren't really prerequisites. You know, do you actually need an engineering degree to do this role? If not, let's take that out. Let's make it more appealing to a more diverse audience. And we've seen in our trials that we are not only getting more female applicants, we're actually getting a more diverse group of applicants altogether. And we're the number of applications we're receiving for new roles has gone from maybe like 10 or 11 people to a few hundred. So,
Wow.
so then our options become a lot greater as well. So, yeah, that's something that's an ongoing project for us.
Very good. Excellent. So inclusiveness also in the language of the applications is a hot topic, and many companies indeed using that as a tool to try to broaden the scope. And interesting to hear that though maybe the intention was to originally attract more, let's say, women to the applications, you have been anyway also getting, when you say broaden, I guess from different education, different backgrounds, different professions or prior industries or things like that. So in a way enriched your potential talent pool also through that. Probably a bit more work for your talent acquisition team, but hopefully well worth it for the future.
It's
very
a good problem
good
to have.
Then, yes. Then somebody was asking online if you speak Finnish, first of all.
I have actually just started some Finnish lessons in the last few weeks, so I'm not going to say yes just yet.
Right. So not mandatory for your job in that sense to be speaking Finnish?
No, I mean, particularly in my role, it is a global role. There are maybe a few more locally based roles here within maybe our production or assembly type roles that Finnish is, it would be beneficial to speak the local language. But ultimately, like Annika was saying, we're trying to move away from that being a prerequisite. And yeah, as you can see from myself, it is not.
Very good. So yeah, indeed, then the sort of like second part of the question from the audience was that, for instance, somebody who is specialized in communication and sustainability finds a lot of jobs in Sandvik has been requiring Finnish as like mandatory language, but this might be for like the local branch of the company, and then you have the global roles, which are usually then requiring English as language. So same actually, like I was in Kone for 10 years and the global organization language was English, but of course our Finnish organization had a Finnish language as a requirement. So I suppose it's the same for Sandvik.
Yes, we do have the same business structure. There is a local organization and a global organization within the business. I do find it quite interesting that is the case. Although in my own experience, I have found that even though that, for example, the job ads might be posted in English, you would do your interview in English. I have found when I've applied previously, some of the feedback was, oh, well, we wish you spoke the local language, like it's just really important to us. And I think we're moving away from that now, but I can certainly understand that previously that may have been the case. Yeah, but hopefully especially with global roles, we can kind of move away from that mentality.
Yes, super.
So please keep applying.
Yes, keep applying. And I suppose it's also okay for people to connect with you on LinkedIn and ask questions directly if they want to know more about specific job at Sandvik. Then we have actually questions for all of you guys, and also a quick mention for our audience that Galit from Gartner has to step away for another call, but we still have then the other guests online to answer the questions. One question actually that just popped up is about making a difference between fluent Finnish and native Finnish speaker. So there has been this very long debate, and I think we can start with this one, that a lot of job advertisements still use the wording of native speakers for Finnish instead of native level or fluent working proficiency or whichever, which kind of seems very discriminatory, because then by default it means that somebody has to be born and raised in Finland in order to speak good Finnish, which is a bit strange. It can be also learned, though it's hard. So maybe a question then for the three ladies who are more on the talent acquisition side of things. So I know you recruit a lot in English in your companies, but maybe Annika, for instance, in IF, where you still have quite a bit of recruitment for Finnish speakers, like how do you see this native versus fluent Finnish discussion?
Just thinking about the Helsingin Sanomat article I read yesterday, as you said that like native is discrimination, that's something that you really shouldn't even use, that it's not legal to do that.
It's not legal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think maybe from the fluency in Finnish for if, I think maybe for for example, communication roles, the idea is that you would be able to create text and things that someone doesn't need to double check, that your language is on such a level that we can go out with things like that. And again, that of course depends on the role. If you're working in teams and maybe let's say the customer service, you don't need to be know everything about the grammar and just to be understood. So I think that's it's hard to give one general answer. It's more about the role, I would say.
Yeah. Vismit or Camilla, any inputs also from your side? Though you probably mostly recruit with English speaking, but any thoughts?
Just to add on to Annika, I agree to her that we also have certain roles, like for example, customer operations department. There are certain roles which do require either Finnish or Swedish, but we don't use the term native, we use fluency. So yeah, that's what. But apart from that, there are other roles. All the technology roles require English speaking because Relix business language is English.
Yeah.
We have at Brella, we have quite similar than what Vismit mentioned. We are quite English first, so there are not actually on top of my mind, not very even many roles that I could think of that would require Finnish skills. Maybe in the HR side actually, because some Finnish laws unfortunately are only in Finnish. But that's maybe the only role I can think of that would require some Finnish skills.
Very good. The funny thing with this language, I'm always thinking, I think most of us actually on this call are non-native English speakers. And yet somehow we are managing to perform for companies that are selling billions of euros of products combined in the world. So it's interesting that native level of English is not required, but somehow native levels of Finnish is still very much imprinted in the mindset of companies here. So, and as a reminder, indeed, it is illegal, though we are seeing it a lot still in many job ads. So if you spot those, please challenge the companies that it's not necessarily, first of all, legal, and then it's also not really a right kind of mindset in this day and age. So somebody who was upper education and speak Finnish fluently might even speak better Finnish than a native Finn who has stopped, school at grade 9 or something like that. So just something to consider. Good. Then another question still for the talent acquisition specialist around the value of the application. So Vismit already mentioned a tailored cover letter, showing the interest for the company, being concise, straight to the point, no need to write too many things and so on. So maybe also Camilla and Annika, some tips from you about what you value the most when you get applicants to Brella or IF.
I can really agree a lot with Vismit said that it's like the advice you always get, that those are the most important ones. But then of course, as I mentioned, if our values are something that's really important to us, that if we can maybe notice that you had a look at our websites, or of course you shouldn't say that those are values important to you unless they are, but that maybe you can see that this is really a person who would like to work with us and who we would like to work with, that you can see the motivation also from that. So that's maybe something I could add on to of course.
Oh, I think Annika, you froze. So maybe Camilla has some insights.
I have to say that I agree actually a lot with what Annika said, because, well, like I mentioned in my presentation, culture and values are something that we say very important, and not, of course, everybody is necessarily we are not necessarily looking for the best culture fit, but also a culture add, someone who could bring maybe something more to the team and more to the table. So those kind of things are also important for us. So definitely with a small research, you can make a huge difference there.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Any views on open applications? That's something we haven't discussed yet. So many companies have open application link on their career pages. It's quite traditional, but at least I've always heard in Finland that unless for IT jobs, perhaps not many companies end up really looking into those open application talent pools and hiring from that. So is it worth for our audience to spend the time doing a very nice open application to the companies that you represent, or can you openly say that maybe not the best channel, let's say, or are you using this actively?
I could take this question because we had this similar, like we had this open application project going on, and we had opened this open application on Greenhouse tool. And unfortunately, we did manage to hire a few candidates or reply to the candidates to a certain extent. But after that, we were short of resources and we couldn't. So we thought of closing that because it doesn't give a good candidate experience if you don't address or communicate to the candidate where does their profile lies, and they don't hear from us. So we have deliberately closed it. So we are going to again open it next year if we have an additional resource who will be only managing the open application. So that's for Relics. Yeah.
Yes, very interesting. So making the tough decision in a way to not do like everybody else and not have this, because you just wouldn't have someone that provides a good experience to the applicant. So very interesting. Very interesting approach. How about others?
Well, we have an opportunity to basically kind of like connect with our recruitment system, and then there you can select what kind of roles are you interested in and what you are looking for. And one thing that at least many people have said that they like is that if you connect with that system and you are interested, for example, project management or something like that, and then we don't necessarily have a role open now, but once we have, they will get an instant message, email saying that now there is this role open and go check it out, and then they can apply, because definitely I would also say that something to stood out from the crowd is to be the first ones to apply there. So so that is also something. But since we have the option to that people select what kind of roles are they interested in, of course, when we are opening new roles, we can already check our database for the people who are interested in those specific roles. And then go through and not needing to go through, of course, all of the candidate database, because that would require a lot of time.
Yes, okay. Good. Then I hope we got Annika back.
Yes, sorry, I got thrown out for some reason.
Very good. So yeah, we were talking about the open application. So is that also something that you have at EF, and do you actually look into them, or is it more of a must-have, let's say?
Hearing Camilla and Visma talk about it, I really wish we would maybe be a bit better at it than we are right now. We do look through them, but maybe we would need more resources to really make sure that we don't miss on anyone. We have this new IT open application that we have a bit more resources to look at, and that's not open for like every day of the year as the other open applications. So that one is maybe handled a bit better, if I'm brutally honest. So really something we will try to get better at, but we do look through them, but I can't promise that we get back to everyone.
Very good. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being open. Then I think it was mentioned already a couple of times, and for instance, Emily was mentioning she was doing that in Australia, but the whole topic around this remote work. So that's also kind of like a hot thing. Every company is talking about it, going back in the office, not in the office. Some were already pre-COVID flexible with the remote work. Some have had to learn it the hard way. Some are not sure what to go to now. So any thoughts? And maybe Emily, you could start since you have been actually experiencing remote work also before.
Yeah, sure. I would say that for Sandvik, a lot of our staff already had this opportunity, particularly if you worked in certain roles like sales, because there was so much travel required for those roles. So our staff were typically traveling 50 to 70% of their year. So it was already unreasonable to expect them to come into the office, and you would, of course, have days and weeks where no one would be there at all. Yeah. So within my team, it was already quite well implemented, that the majority of us already had that flexibility to work from home. My particular role was working in the office, but my reasoning for moving was my partner was offered a position at that location, and I wanted to move with him. So to retain me, that they offered me the opportunity to work flexibly. So it is part of I guess a retention strategy as well. Now moving back, obviously I'm in a different location now, so it is a little bit different here at Centric in Finland, at least, and this is country by country for us at the moment. We have moved to a 2-day-a-week, 3-day at home policy for all staff, unless you work, of course, in a factory floor kind of role where you're required to be here every single day. But if you are in typically a white collar role or something that can be done from home, you're most welcome to work from home. And I think we'll probably see that trend continue across the business. I mean, it helps with other things, you know, in terms of, you know, maybe you can downsize your office space, maybe you can hot desk. I mean, here in the Tampere facility, we have nearly 1,500 staff. There's a lot of us to fit in here, so we've found that it's helped with actual, like, the capacity of our office space as well is a lot more flexible now.
Yeah, and I suppose also that when we were talking earlier about expanding the potential talents that will be applying, it might be also something that somebody might drive 2 days a week from Jyväskylä, for instance, to come to Tampere. But if it would have been 5 days a week to be on location, then that's something that you couldn't do. So there is also like more openness maybe for people to be actually working in different cities, because they don't need to be every day in that location if it's only 2 days a week, for instance. Any other insights around like remote work versus office work, and how to get people motivated, maybe also to get back in office for those who want, at least?
I can take that.
Yeah, maybe someone from your side can take that.
All right, I can address that question. Here at RELX, we have one team leader who is based in Vasa, and he's been with RELX for 5 years now, and his entire team is at remote locations. So there's only one team member in Helsinki, and one is in Spain, and other in some other location. So they're still functioning that way. And whenever there's a meeting, then they come and meet the team. So that's the arrangement. And in general, what we discussed, and we had the survey launched last month, that we've asked the employees what would they like, what mode of working would they prefer, and 50% of people have agreed to the 50-50% model, like hybrid model, 2 days working and working from office and 3 days working from home. So we are yet to decide and discuss it. So it all depends on the employees. What would they prefer? If they prefer complete remote, that's acceptable. And if they prefer completely coming to office, that's also fine. And if they prefer 50-50. So we are yet to decide and come to that mode for that particular employee as per the employees. Yeah.
Super. Then I think there was another great question around equity and objectivity in the selection process. So lots of companies are talking about DEI, lots of companies are talking about equity. How do you put that in practice then in the selection process, and is it like not only a buzzword, but actually like in practice done when you're doing these selection processes?
I could take that question. It's been 6 months at RELX, and what I noticed is when I joined, there was this lack of awareness in the hiring manager's mindset in terms of looking at candidates from India. And they were overwhelmed seeing the CV, the long CVs the Indian candidates usually make. And we started talking about equal opportunities and relocation candidates. And I started educating them that why the Indian candidates make long CVs, because that's how they have been trained in Indian market. And similar to other countries, like they were very, they were not preferring candidates from some countries. So we started educating the hiring managers, and they started evaluating. And now, since relocation support is provided by RELX, so they were pretty open. They were not worried about the immigration process and everything. So I think that is how I took care about it in 6 months time. And there are a lot of a lot of candidates from outside EU who are joining us. So yeah, I think it's all about educating them and creating that kind of awareness that if there's a candidate from other country, since I know I've worked in India also, so I could give them this input that the candidate has the habit of writing a lot of things. So I think that's what we started doing at RELX, all of us as recruiters.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, in my team, we're also really trying to educate our leaders and recruiting people, making courses for everyone that they need to go through before starting the recruiting. That's something we're working on to create the awareness Vismet is mentioning. So that's really, but yeah, I think a lot of our action points regarding equity and inclusion and diversity are some that we're still working on and trying to get implemented. We of course try to use are aware of our biases and so on, but we still have a long way to go as many companies. But the training is maybe the first thing we've done for now.
Okay.
Yeah, that is actually something similar we've done. We actually listed this day at Genzi. We had this day called company who did a lot of training for our employees. So not actually only to our hiring managers, but also some trainings for the whole company or every employee. And then we also have actually these topics for all the newbies in our onboarding structure. But of course, when it comes to recruitment, this is something that we want to train the hiring managers and also of course recruiters, so that we have the awareness, so that then it is a work in progress, but something we want to work towards to be better at. And I would say that these things are something that we need to look closely in every step of the recruitment process. So not only in example in the interviews and making sure that we don't have any, like we take care of like the unconscious biases and making sure that we don't make any snap judgments or this side, but also, for example, starting already on the start of the recruitment and when you have the kickoff with the hiring manager and when you are planning the requirements and then like there are these small things that you don't necessarily even know that matters. For example, usually women are, for example, and don't feel that they want to apply for a job which has some requirements they don't feel, but men necessarily don't feel like that the same. So for example, taking those already into account when you are writing, for example, the job ad and when you are planning the requirements you had and not being that black and white that you need to have, for example, 5 years of experience, because is that really necessary, and is it fair then when there are some people who have only a couple of years and they don't care about the requirement, but then some people care and then they don't apply. So these kind of small things to look up during the whole process and that side.
Yes. Okay, excellent. I think we are about to run out of questions. I think we have covered most of them. I don't know, Lucia, if there are some extra questions then from your side.
Of course, the language questions. No, first, thanks to everybody, first of all, for a great presentation. I'm so happy that you were here. But I think that the hottest topic in the chat is the language. And it's not a new topic, at least at the Empower Wednesday, every round table, we have the same topic. And especially being the Finnish such a difficult language, our majority of our international talent are a bit frustrated for this lack of transparency on the job posting, when the job posting could be in English and then at the bottom of it you just read Finnish is required. So the question that I've been hearing over and over is like, why do you post this in English, first of all, and why don't you straightly post it into Finnish? saying that, and then English is acquired, like is a plus language, instead of somehow giving a fake hope to international talents that have been frustrated by the difficulties of these looking for jobs in the country, and then find it at the like in fine lines that the Finnish is required. What is your thought about it? You can all answer.
Maybe I can make a comment. Sorry, you go ahead, Annika.
No, sure, go ahead.
Obviously, I can't comment from the recruitment side of things, but and maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but my partner actually had the exact same experience. And this doesn't reflect on the company I work for, because that's not the case. We don't post job ads in specific languages and then put it in the fine print down the bottom. We don't do that. But I would say my partner went through the exact same experience when we moved here. All of the job ads that he was applying for, and he works in marketing and advertising as well, were posted in English. He interviewed for several of them in English, and then it was always this kind of hidden prerequisite for specific companies. So I do find there is some truth in that comment. To be honest, I wonder if maybe this is not the right group to ask, because we're all expats. So maybe we haven't all been through the same experience. But I do think that is a valid point, to be honest. And then, sorry, maybe a follow-on thought from that. I do wonder as well if it's a valid complaint, though, because I think if you went to a lot of other countries in the world, then the expectation would be the same. For example, I think you would experience the same in Australia. We're a very diverse and multinational country. That makes up our, the core of who our country is. But I think you'd face the same challenges if you didn't speak English fluently as well. And so I find it quite an odd complaint that you would come to another country and not speak their language and then be offended by that. So maybe that's an unpopular opinion to have, though.
Yeah, maybe you'll change the tune in a couple of months or years. Let's see. Of course, the comparison is challenging, because there are billions of people speaking English on the planet, and there are 5 million people speaking Finnish. So of course, like, Finnish is not the most
for sure
common thing, but yeah, I think it's incredibly difficult. I mean, we know it. We are supporting people every single day at our organization, IWOF, to actually get jobs, and we know the challenges, and we speak with companies and so on. But I think where we maybe draw the line is around generalization. So there are companies who are making the step forward. There are companies who are choosing to have English as their corporate language. There are more and more people who are coming in the employment path as non-Finnish speakers. And I've been here for 18 years. I have lived in 7 different cities, and I have worked for 6, maybe 7 different companies. So I'm not saying this from like a feeling point of view, or from like, observation that 18 years ago it was a totally different story than what it is today. So I know it's like super frustrating. And I understand the hardship, and especially if you're not in the IT sector, it ain't fun to be here. But at the same time, like, it's great to recognize and also celebrate companies that are making the changes. And I think that's why we are very thankful to have you guys today. I think, at least, if I'm not mistaken, Bismit, Camilla, Emily, Galit, and of course Lucia and myself, we are foreigners. Annika, I assume, but I shouldn't assume that you are Finnish, but you are, I think.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm actually Finnish also.
So sorry, Camilla, are you also Finnish?
Yes.
Sorry, my bad. See, assumptions and unconscious biases or pro-biases. But anyway, there's about half of us still who are foreigners, who are working here, who are not using Finnish in the everyday language. So, and we are representing companies that actually are open to that. And if I can take 2 minutes actually to speak, for instance, about my company, which is Nava. It's a health tech company. I'm not working for IWOF. I just do that as a volunteer. But with Nava, I'm the first foreign-speaking, or the only one at the moment. There were some others before. I think that I'm the only foreign-speaking or foreign-born person in the global team at the moment. And there was a conscious decision from the company that things had to change and needs to be going towards this internationalization path. And therefore, it was like not mandatory that the person in the role would be a foreigner, but that the best person with the best skills would be taken even if they wouldn't speak Finnish. So I think that also shows that even like the smaller companies that traditionally are even harder to get good excuses to hire foreigners are also changing towards that path. So there's a long way to go, but at least for those of us who have been here long enough, I think the last 2 years have been dramatically changing compared to the previous 20 years. So that in itself, I think, is a great step in that sense.
It is, it's changed, and especially from a government point of view as well, not only companies. So all the society is changing and being more inclusive and talking about how to attract and retain finally the talents that are here. So one of the good sides of the pandemic was finally the focus was even on people that were already in the country and how the country could retain them, because most of the time they've been educated in the country. Like I can see in the chat, if you read almost a lot of our international talents today have been somehow studied in the country. So they come here as students and now they're willing to stay. And a lot of changing, even the previous, as myself, have been changing their education. So step into something that is more related to the Finnish job market. So I think we've been great discussion today.
Can I ask something, if it is okay?
Yeah,
thank you all for your presentation. Actually, I arrived a couple of minutes late to the event, so I just would like to check like all the company and to see their positions or available opportunities in them. So can we have like a list of or at least the name or the address of the website of companies, particularly the first two companies which I have been absent for their presentation, and then I go to check like their website. Can I have their names?
We will upload this webinar on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it and pause it and take notes and rewind and go ahead all the time that you want.
Great. I didn't know that you uploaded on
No
YouTube
worries.
channel. Okay, I'm gonna check. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that it's dinner time for majority of us, and the chat is still on fire, but all the speakers today have shared their LinkedIn profile. So if you are interested in networking and connect with them, please do so. And as I said, the recording will be soon online. And I think we can happily say that is the end of another Empower Wednesday webinar. So thanks a lot, Caroline, for moderating.
Thank you. Thank you to all the speakers and the audience for being super active. The chat has been on fire. So good luck to you all. Remember to connect on LinkedIn. We know it's frustrating times, especially when you don't have work, but we can help. And now you have at least 5 companies you know of that are hiring English-speaking professionals. So remember to keep your network alive and take the opportunity now that all these wonderful presenters are saying, please connect, please let's talk. So do that. That's the way to go. So, and thank you, Lucia, for having me as the facilitator today.
Anytime. Thank you, Camilla. Thank you, Emily, Annika, Vismit. Thanks a lot, and all the participants. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a lovely
everybody.
evening. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.